Our administrative staff has gotten very good at being intuitive about what a potential customer really needs from a Fox Family Heating and Air Conditioning service technician. With all that fancy HVAC jargon like an AC tune-up, diagnostic service call, HVAC inspection, or safety inspection, how are you supposed to know what it is that you should be asking for when you call in? In this episode, we're going to narrow it down to our most needed services. Let's talk about how to tell if you need an AC tune-up or a diagnostic service call. Now, I'm not here trying to bag on anyone, but it is true that some people will call into Fox Family and say that they need us to come out and do a tune-up on their system. So we'll ask them something like, is your system currently working okay? Or are you having any problems with your system right now? And they'll say, yeah, but I noticed like this burnt smell coming from the registers and not as much air seems to be coming out. Or, yeah, it's just not as cool as it used to be in here, so I thought I'd come out and just have you add some Freon. So here's a chance for me to clarify the difference between a diagnostic service call and an AC tune-up. The main points that we want to identify with you when you call into Fox Family is whether your system is running just fine or if you're calling because you think something just isn't right with the AC. Folks who call us for a tune-up think that their system is running just fine. They just believe in doing preventive maintenance on their system will make their system not only cleaner, but will make it last longer. When we come out on a tune-up, we have a checklist of things that we're looking at. The main components of the system, your thermostat, your filters, the ductwork. We're also checking things like the temperature of the air coming out of the registers in your room versus the temperature of the air going in to where your filter is in the hallway. Then we start really looking into the major components like the motors and devices in the system that make your machine work. With our meters and our testing equipment, we can see what's going on inside the motor. Is it working too hard? Is the right voltage being applied to it? Is there enough refrigerant in the system? On top of the mechanical components of the system, we're going to look at the drainage system, the refrigerant metering devices, high voltage wiring, and tighten connections as needed. We can also check for shrubs around the AC unit that might prevent proper heat transfer. We'll also make sure that the unit is level and, of course, clean the AC as well. Your utility company and Fox Family thinks that a clean air conditioner and heating system will last longer than a dirty one. If your system isn't running quite the way you think it should be, meaning Friday before we went on camping for the weekend, the AC was working just fine, and now there isn't any air coming out of the registers. This means that you're calling in for a diagnostic service call. Some people just call it a service call. Here, your technician will ask you a few questions about your system and go straight for the problem so that you can begin cooling as soon as possible. They won't really be interested in combing over the entire system with a fine brush, but they will make sure that the rest of your AC is functioning properly so you won't have any foreseeable problems. Having said that, your technician's probably not going to replace the capacitor in the outdoor unit and also discover that your drain line isn't functioning properly since you didn't really say anything leading us to believe that something was wrong with the drain line. Another example would be something like discovering that your compressor was bad, but 2 weeks later your control board goes out because of a fractured solder connection or something like that. That's something that we'd likely see and tell you about on a furnace tune-up in the winter, but not really look for when we're just trying to get your system cooling again on a 100-degree day. I know there were some weird nuances that I'm talking about here, but hopefully I'm making sense. See, on diagnostic service calls, we're mainly just focused on getting you back up and running as soon as possible. Technicians will pretty much look around the unit that they're working on, like if the AC outside has a capacitor go out, and you thought the system was working just fine until yesterday when you called us, they'll likely just change the capacitor and maybe even forgo climbing in the attic to do a thorough analysis of anything that might be going wrong with it. We're damned if we do and damned if we don't sometimes, because some folks want to pay as little as possible to get their system back up and running and almost find it offensive if we recommend other repairs that might not actually prevent the system from running today but could go out in the foreseeable future. Others will say, well, why didn't you bring that up the last time I was here when you were just here 2 months ago? Whether you need a simple tune-up or a diagnostic service call, it's going to be the same price at Fox Family, so there's no better call to have us come out on. Now that you know the difference, you'll be better prepared to make the phone call to your HVAC company and tell them which service you need. A tune-up won't correct a broken system, much like a tune-up or oil change on your car isn't going to fix your transmission problem. Tune-ups may identify some issues with your systems that you didn't know existed. At the same time, a diagnostic service call may identify the need for regular preventive maintenance in the form of a tune-up. If this is your first time watching our channel, please click subscribe down here on the bottom right, and if you click the little bell next to it, you'll be notified of all of our videos as they come out. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. You're watching Fox Family Heating, Air, and Solar. Don't forget to subscribe. And check out more of our videos by clicking on the right side of the screen. If this is your first time watching, please click subscribe down below on the bottom right here. And if you click that little bell next to it, you'll be notified of all of our videos as they come out. An air conditioning tune-up is what responsible homeowners do to maintain their home's HVAC system. It's a thorough cleaning and testing of the air conditioning system to ensure that it will work when we need it to this summer. We operate with the understanding that a clean system will run way longer than a dirty system. Not every HVAC company in town performs air conditioning tune-ups either. And I would say it's because they feel that they're not very good money generators for them. I mean, I get it. Wiping down air conditioners and testing parts isn't very exciting for some. But I don't think they really understand the opportunity we have here to create a relationship with someone and their HVAC system. I like to develop relationships with my customers by taking care of their AC system. If we can perform an AC tune-up every spring for years and years, I know my customers will at the very least allow us to leave them a quote for a new system when that time comes someday. At the same time, our customers get to work with Sacramento's most honest air conditioning company. Our technicians will only bring up parts or repairs that'll make your system return to factory specs, help it last longer, or make it safer for you and your family. So what happens on an AC tune-up? When we're on the way, our technician will call you and let you know that we're on the way. We always try to park on the street with our white vans with the Fox Family logo on it. Then after you open the door and allow us to come in, we usually start off with the air filter and the thermostat. I like to ask if there's any areas of the house that need any attention. Like, do any rooms not get the right amount of air? Does it cool the house down to your satisfaction in the middle of summer? Questions like this can establish how you like your system to run, because not every homeowner is the same, right? Once I know what's going on in the homeowner's mind, we then turn the AC system on, together, at the thermostat, and we listen for the air to come on, and then we walk to the outside together to make sure that the outside system comes on. And now we all know that the system was running when I got there. From here, you'll be able to sit back and do whatever you needed to do while the technician goes out and runs through a list specifically designed for your type of air conditioning system. We usually start off with the air handler in the attic or the closet. As a responsible business owner, I need my techs to kind of get in and get out of those attics quickly while they're there at the furnace. And that's only really there if it's in the attic. It's hard to force a tech to spend some time cleaning furnaces when they're in a hot attic. Still though, the furnace gets physically cleaned during the furnace tune-up and not the AC tune-up. We're more focused on the AC here. But there are some really important things to check out at the air handler, so we try to get in and out effectively but safely. The most important things we're testing near the air handler is the temperature difference between your supply and return air ducts. If it's not where it needs to be, we have a bunch of checks that we can do to get it right. A quick look at the evaporator coil can make a huge difference in the comfort of your home this summer. If it's dirty or clogged, it'll make your system underperform. We also need to make sure that your blower and the flywheel is clean and ready to run a lot this summer. We're always pouring water down the drain lines to make sure the condensate drains properly too. We always try to offer a condensate safety switch to protect your home from potential damage. The secondary drain pan under the evaporator coil in the attic is a potential source of problems too. So we like to make sure that it's ready for any emergency by making sure there's no insulation in the pan and that all water that might get into that pan will flow out correctly. Another big problem that we see with pans is that the metal ones tend to rust out if any water has been in them in the past. So sometimes after a few years, that pan can completely rust out if it had water in it. So that's just something we want to check every year. We also make sure the metering device for your refrigeration system is mounted properly. We look for any obvious refrigerant leaks in the copper tubing as well. We also check for proper insulation levels while we're up there too, because it's so important to create a nice barrier between the hot air in the attic and the cool air that you're trying to keep in your house. It really pays to have a thick layer of insulation up there. Once we're done in the attic, and I really only want my techs up there maybe 15 minutes on warmer days, we'll head to the outdoor unit. The majority of the AC tune-up is done here at the outdoor unit. Here we test components inside the panel. We focus on things like your refrigerant levels to make sure that your system isn't running too long unnecessarily. The high and low voltage electrical running the AC needs to maintain a certain sizing, workmanship, and integrity to it. All in all, it's about 35 items on our outdoor unit and about 20 items on the indoor unit that we're checking. If you happen to have a package unit that sits on the side of the house or up on the top of the roof even, we still go through all 55 items. After we check the AC system, if there's any parts that need to be changed out, we'll let you know about them. Our trucks are stocked with almost every part you need for your AC to get back running properly today. If the system is running well and no parts are needed, we just get right to work washing your AC. Now, many manufacturers of air conditioners are switching to materials like microchannel, which can't be washed with soapy or chemical solutions, so we pay attention to things like that. Also, if you have a dog that runs around in your backyard, we try not to use any soapy solutions that'll drain into the area around the AC so your best friend doesn't get sick. We are so thorough cleaning the AC, it's not uncommon to see a tech vacuuming out your AC to get rid of the sticks and other debris that can be a nuisance to a healthy air conditioner. So what's the benefit of getting an AC tune-up this year? When the air conditioning tune-up is complete, I know that you're going to have peace of mind knowing that your system is running in tip-top shape. Doing this every year will really pay off in the later years of your HVAC system. As a technician myself, my 20-year-old system is so clean, it runs like a champ. It's old and loud, but it keeps my house cool just fine, even on the 105-degree days. Why? Because I take care of it. So give Fox Family a call here in Sacramento County, the Foothills, or the Motherlode, and we would be honored to come out and service your HVAC system in 2019. If this is your first time watching, please click subscribe down below on the bottom right here, and if you click that little bell next to it, you'll be notified of all of our videos as they come out. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. You're watching Fox Family Heating, Air, and Solar. Don't forget to subscribe. And check out more of our videos by clicking on the right side of the screen.